Carson Williams, number 8 shortstop for Scout the Statline 2024. Williams comes in at the 43rd overall prospect ranked on the model. WRC plus projection of 113.1, BA 243, on base percentage of 325, slug of 455, 26 home runs projected, 17 stolen bases, a 10% walk rate with a devastating 30% K rate. Comp is Trevor Story. Williams has got an incredible glove, really, really good power, but Doc, this kid cannot avoid the strikeout.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot of people who were disappointed when they brought in Kim to play shortstop this year. I mean, he's hurt. He's probably not going to be.
What does that say, right? They signed a guy that's hurt for 2 years.
So what does it say? I don't think it's a death knell to Carson Williams, but it's funny. People are like, oh, they just hate this kid. I'm like, well, he's only 21. It's a weird 21's a weird prospect age because there's some phenoms who are just ripping it up and cracking the big. Some guys take a little longer. This is a guy who I don't rush him. I actually think it's pretty smart for the Rays to quote unquote hate Carson Williams by not promoting him after he rocked a 30% K rate at AA, dude. Like, you're gonna kill him. You're gonna ruin his career. I'm trying to, as I can talk about him pretty easily offhand, but I am interested to see what exactly his splits were last year in the minor leagues. And so what I'm seeing here is he came out hot. Yeah. So he came out so hot in April. I know I was really excited. I saw 368 batting average and 450 and 450 in OBP in April. This doesn't have to be real, but I was like, this is something closer to what I want, like even if it's going to go down from there. And then he just completely, just started. The K's rose and everything kind of fell apart. He peaked up again a little bit in 9 games in September. The speed and the power are a draw here. And because of that, like, folks, people will say, oh, defense doesn't matter. Or maybe you'll just inherently you'll just ignore defense when it comes to fantasy purposes. But I would advise against that because it's going to buy him time. It's going to buy him, time to develop when he is ready for the bigs, because he will get to the bigs just based, like this guy with this kind of defense will at worst be some utility guy forever. Yes. So he's going to be up there and the idea I think what the Rays are going for is like, well, let's see if we can get him to be beyond a utility guy. Let's see if we can get him just literally stay at 30% K rate in MLB. Because if it's 30% at AA, likely going to be 35% or something bad, Nolan Gorman territory. We don't want him to be Nolan Gorman. I guess that's what we'll say. That's a great comp.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Fast Nolan Gorman though, which is the reason why
more valuable.
You want to do this right.
It's interesting. I think if you took his line and you put it on Vance Honeycutt, people would be ecstatic, right? Mm-hmm. Like power, speed, the average is at 250. Oh, 30% K rate. Like, who cares? A potential platinum Gold Glove winner. But the difference is, like, we know how far Honeycutt has to come to be an actual real viable prospect. Like Williams, a prep pick. So, like, we've seen a 30% K rate in the last 2 years about average. And I think you're right. Like 2025 needs to be a season for him where he really focuses on getting that down to like 22, 23%. And then I think we might have a star then. But until that drops below even 27%, like it's very risky.
He's got the profile where if he goes 220 or 230 batting average, even 300, 320, somewhere in that 300 to 310 OBP, it doesn't sound very sexy. It's not, but I mean, if it gives you 2020, like that plays in a lot of leagues.
Yeah,
like there's actually a really low threshold here for him to be useful. So
I mean, I don't want to throw the name out, but like it's a light version of Elly De La Cruz over the last 2 years.
Oh, I mean, that'd be really light. I mean, it's kind of like it's just like it's like a Volpe.
Yeah, that's better. That's a much better comp.
He's just Volpe right now.
Yeah. I like that. And
I mean, he's Volpe at best because he has not done that at MLB. So we should actually give Volpe credit for sticking to the MLB right now. But go on, sorry.
No, I think you're spot on with that. Anything else on Carson?
Seems like he's one of those guys you hear about the IQ and the makeup, and if you're gonna have him as a top 20 prospect right now, you got to be banking on that. I heard the same thing about Spencer Jones. Both these guys are just really smart kids, and so maybe these are just going to be Spencer Jones, especially maybe just be, this 25-year-old guy, 24, guy who takes a little bit longer, and we kind of forget
Brett
about
Rooker.
him. Maybe the Yankees move on from him at some point,
Yeah.
and then no one talks about him again. But with Carson Williams, I wouldn't be so shocked if the Rays found a buyer for him who thought they could do something with him. We'll see. The future's bright for Carson Williams in terms of having a career fantasy. The jury's out. We'll see if he can give us something any higher than those numbers I said. If he can go to like a 250 batting average, 320 OBP, that's when things get really exciting.
Yeah.